In this lab, you will learn about Azure Monitor. You will learn how to create an alert and send it to an action group. You will then trigger and test the alert and check the activity log as well. There are 6 tasks that I will perform in this lab. In task 1, I'm going to use a template to provision virtual machine. In task 2, I'm going to create an alert. In task 3, I'm going to configure action group notifications. In task 4, I'm going to trigger an alert and confirm that it is working. In task 5, I'm going to configure an alert processing rule. And in task 6, I'm going to use Azure Monitor to log queries. Here's the scenario. Let's say that your organization has migrated their infrastructure to Azure. It is now important that administrators are notified of any significant infrastructure changes. You then plan to examine the capabilities of Azure Monitor, including log analytics. Like I said earlier, there are 6 tasks that I will perform. In task 1, I'm going to use a template to create an Azure virtual machine. And that is what I'm going to use in task 4 to trigger the alert that I'm going to configure in task 2. So I will go to the search box and I will look for deploy a custom template. Now I will click this link. And now I can find myself now in the edit template. So in this edit template, I'm going to click this one, load file. And I'll go to lab 11 where I will load the template file into the edit template. So I will save the file. That will take me back to the custom deployment where I will now supply other information. There's a need for me now to select the resource group. So since I do not have any resource group here, I'm going to click create new. And I will type the resource group AZ-104 RG11. Then I will click OK. Then the region, I'm going to use East US. And for the username, it's going to be local admin. And for the password, I will supply the password. Then I will select review plus create. Then I will select the create button. So it's initializing the deployment now. After the initialization, it's going to start submitting the deployment into the Azure, and that is what is actually going on right now. So this will take a couple of minutes. So I'm going to pause this video now and I'll be back once the deployment is complete. The deployment is complete, so I will click this button, go to resource group. So here is the resource group AZ-104-RG11. Let's look at the resources that are deployed through that template. And this is the main resource, the VM0. This is the virtual network that VM0 is actually connected to. And this is the network interface connected to the same VM0. This is the network security group to filter what is allowed into the virtual machine in terms of connection or services, as well as what is not allowed. And this is the public IP address of the same virtual machine. Here is the Azure disk, that is the disk of this VM0. And we also have one storage account here. So what I will do next now is that I want to configure Azure Monitor for virtual machine. Now, I need to do it now because I will use this later. So I'll go to Monitor and I will select this service. That's the monitor. So these are all the things or the tools that are available for you to actually monitor your resources in Azure. For example, if you take note, this is actually categorized into insights, and we also have detection, triage, and diagnostics. So what do we have in insights? Application insights that helps to monitor app availability, performance, error, and usage. We also have container insights, which is what we use to gain visibility into the performance and health of controllers, nodes, and containers. There's also VM insights. This is what we use to monitor the health, performance, and dependencies of VMs and VM skill sets. We also have network insights. This is what we use to view the health and metrics of all the deployed network resources. Now, if you come to the detection, you'll see metrics. So what is metrics? So this is what we actually use to monitor and investigate, you know, performance of our resources. So these metrics are a set of information that we get from, our resources that are deployed into the Azure. Now, the alerts is what we configure if we want to be notified of any actions that is actually happening. And what about the logs? It's also one of the things we use, to query the kind of stuff that is happening, within the Azure environment. So we can use the log to analyze and diagnose issues. Now, what about the workbook? You know, if I want to interact with report, if I want to view, create, and share interactive report, that is what the workbook is meant for. We also have the change analytics. That is a tool that we use to investigate what changed to triangle incidents. And what about the diagnostic settings? We use this one to monitor metrics and logs so that we can know exactly what is actually happening in terms of the data that is being gathered. And this is the Azure Monitor SUM managed instance. And we use this one to monitor workloads that is running on cloud and the on-premise. And what about the managed Prometheus? We use it to collect Prometheus metrics from your containerized workload so as to monitor their health and their performance. And I'll go back to the VM Insight. So what is the purpose of VM Insight again? Is to monitor the health, performance, and dependencies of what VMs and VM skill sets. So this is what I want to configure now. Remember, the resources that I deploy is actually a virtual machine, and that is what I actually want to monitor. So I'll click View. Then I'll now click the Configure Insights. If you notice now, it's giving me um, the list of the virtual machines that are available, because what I'm trying to monitor is what the virtual machine. So it will only give me the virtual machines that are available, in my Azure account. I have only one subscriptions. That is why it's displaying only one subscription. And in that subscription, I have only one resource group. And in that resource group, I have only one virtual machine. So I will click enable, because what I'm trying to do is to enable monitoring for that virtual machine. And here again, I will click enable again. Then I now need to configure the monitoring. Look at the information here. It says VM Insight now support data collection using Azure Monitor agents and data collection rules. So I'm not going to configure any data collection rules. I'll leave it this way. I'll just click configure. Now, if you take notes, look at the notification here. What is it saying? It's initializing the deployment. So if you are configuring this in your own environment, please take note that it will take a few minutes. It will take between 5 to 10 minutes to configure the virtual machine and the monitoring of the data. So instead of waiting for that, you can see it's just submitting the deployments now. So I don't need to actually wait for this. So what I will do now is that I will move to the task 2. So in task 2, I'm going to create an alert for when a virtual machine is deleted. So what am I trying to do? I want to have an alert in place that will notify me when a virtual machine is being removed, that is, when it's being deleted from the Azure. So to do that, I will go to alert on the monitor. And this is where I will now configure the alert. So I will click on this drop down and I'm going to click alert rule because that is what I want to configure now. Now, I want to create an alert. That's why I said create a new alert, right? Now it's now asking me to select a resource. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select the resource group. Which resource group? Where do I have my virtual machine? Is in this resource group. So I'm going to select the resource group, then I will click apply. Now that is what the scope. And remember, this alerts will apply to any virtual machine in the resource group. Alternatively, you could just specify one particular virtual machine. Now I will move to the condition tab and then I will select this link, see all signals. So these are the signals. So these signals actually represented the what I actually want to capture in the alert rule. So I will search for the signal that I want. The signal I want is the one that will capture delete. So I want to be able to capture when somebody deletes a virtual machine. So that is what I'm actually looking for. This is it. Delete virtual machine. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to click apply. Now if I scroll down, I'm going to see this alert logic. In this alert logic area, we have different kind of events. We have event level, the status, and event initiated by. I will now move to task 3. In task 3, that is where I will now configure action group notification. Now I have created the alert. I've captured, what I want to capture under the condition. And what do I want to capture? When someone remove or try to delete a virtual machine. Now in this task, if the alert is triggered, you need to send an email notification to the operation team. So how do I go about this? I will select next action, or better still, I can just click the action tab. So if you look at this information here, it says an action group is a set of action that can be applied to an alert rule. Now, you can add up to 5 action groups to an alert rule. So action groups are executed concurrently in no specific order. So what are the options that I have here under the select action? The first one says that use quick action. Second one says use action group. And the third one says none. So now that use quick action is selected, I need to provide details like the action group name, the display name, the action, and other things like that. So what do I put in the action group name? The action group name will be maybe something like this: alert, the operation operations team. And for the display name, it will be alert ops team. And for the email, what do I have? I said to separate between email addresses, do what? Use semicolon. So the email that will collect or that will take that action. Now, I'm not going to use this email. I'm going to provide another email. So I'm going to use this email, Elani Academy Info at gmail.com. Yeah. Now I'll click save. Now I'll move to details. Now in the details, the resource group is already selected, the subscription is already selected, and for the alert rule name again, I will need to also provide something like VM, because that is the title of the message that we sent to that email. VM was deleted. And for the description, I will say a VM in your resource group was deleted. Then I'll click review plus create. Then I'll click create. Now look at this information. It says what? Alert rule created. Yes, it's simply telling us now that we now have alert rule. Now let me take you to my email. Look at this. It said what? You are now in the alert ops teams action group. That's what I just configured now. Now look at my email. It says you are now in the alert ops teams action group. If I click on it, look at what it's saying. Say you have been added to an Azure Monitor action group. You are now in the alert ops team action group and will receive notifications sent to the group. So it's just telling me now that this is what is going to happen. So it simply shows that everything is in order. Next is to trigger an alert and confirm if it's really working. And that is what I'm going to do in task 4. So I'm going to trigger an alert and confirm that a notification is actually sent to me. So how will I do that? I'll go to the search box and look for the virtual machines. And in the virtual machine, I will select this box. Then I will click delete. Then I will check this box to apply what false. Then I will type delete here to confirm that I actually wanted to delete this virtual machine. So it's executing the delete command on the virtual machine. Now I'm going to wait for notification, to tell me that the virtual machine is completely removed or deleted. It is after that I will now go to my email to check the notification. So this will take a couple of minutes. So I will pause this video, and once the notification is ready, that is, once the virtual machine has been deleted successfully, I will come back. Now let's go to the notification now. Yes, executed delete command on one selected item. So, and also here, the virtual machine is no longer here. Let's go and check the email now. Look at the email. Fired. Severity 4. Azure Monitor alert VM was what deleted. You can see he actually captured it. And see what he's saying. You can see he says it's very, very what? It's very, very severe. So it simply shows that the alert is working, and by sending it to the email is also another option that worked very well. So I haven't checked the notification and I haven't checked the mail. Let me now go to the monitor itself and see what is written there inside the Azure Monitor. So I'm now inside the Azure Monitor and I will go to the alert. And look at the alerts. VM was deleted, VM was deleted, VM was deleted. You can see fired. So it simply shows now that it's properly working. So normally you should have 3 verbose alerts that were generated by deleting the VM0. Please note that it can take a few minutes for the alert email to be sent and for the alert to be updated in the portal. If I select one of the alerts, it's supposed to give me details of what happened or what that alert is all about. So look at the details of these alerts. The severity, the time and date was fired, and other important information. I said the target resource, that is this, has been removed or deleted. Let's move to task 5. In task 5, I'm going to configure an alert processing rule. So in this task, I'm going to create an alert rule to suppress notifications during the maintenance period. Because during maintenance period, it might look like a virtual machine has been removed or deleted, or services or resources has been removed or deleted. So if you do not configure this rule, even when they are maintaining something in the data center, you might get a notification. So let's go back now and configure something to take care of such scenario. So I'm going to close this, and I'll come to this place, alert processing rule. Then I'll click alert processing rule. Then I'll click create. Then I need to select the resource group. So I will select AZ-104 RG11 and then I will click apply. That is the scope for the rule that I'm about to configure. So I'll move to the rule settings. In the rule settings, I have two types of rules: suppress notification, then apply action group. For the suppress notification, it said this alert will still fire, but the action group won't be invoked, so you won't receive any notification when it fires. So that is the rule settings. So I'll make sure that that is selected. Then I'll now move to the scheduling. Why do we need to configure this scheduling? Now, by default, the rule works all the time unless you disable it or configure a schedule. So I'm going to define a rule to suppress notifications during overnight maintenance. So I'm going to enter certain information. For example, I want to apply a rule when at a specific time. That's what is going to make sense. And I have start and end date and time. For the start, I'm going to enter today's date, and for the end, I'll enter tomorrow's date, just for an example. And for the time zone, I'm going to use West Central Africa. Then I'll move to the details now. In the details, the first thing that I'm going to do is to select the resource group. Then the rule name will now be planned maintenance. Yes, planned maintenance, and the description will be suppress notifications during planned maintenance. I'll click review plus create. Then I will click create. Let's now move to the last task, which is task 6. I want to use Azure Monitor now to log queries. So in this task, I'm going to use Azure Monitor to query the data capture from a virtual machine. So I'll go back to the monitor, and from the monitor, I'll look for logs. Now I'm going to close this splash. Now I will select the scope. The scope is going to be my resource group. Then I will click apply. So what I'll do now is that I'm going to go to the queries tab here, and under the queries tab you'll see what virtual machine. So these are the different kind of queries that this virtual machine can actually do, what can actually give me. For example, this one is talking about what agent latency spoke table, automatic update configuration, and so on and so forth. This one is talking about CPU usage trend. So it's talking about computer with missing updates. And this one is talking about what? Count heartbeats. Now, for this count heartbeat, now I'm going to click run. Let's see what's going to happen. So it's running the query right now. So what is the count heartbeat that is giving us here? 5. So I will say count heartbeats in Azure. What does it mean? When we talk about count heartbeat as an human, you know what that means, right? Now, what does it mean in Azure? In the context of Azure virtual machines, Count heartbeat refers to using Azure Monitor to track the number of heartbeat events received from a VM, which helps detect if a VM is online or offline, allowing for an alert based on the missing heartbeat. And there are a lot of other things that you can actually do from here, a lot of other queries that you can actually run. For example, look at this one, distinct missing update, just based on the virtual machine, malware detection, and so on and so forth. Now, one thing you notice here is that no, I can't see the query, the query that actually generated this. I can't see the query. And the reason is because from this drop down here is on the simple mode. If I change it to KQL mode, what is KQL? Kusto's query language. Kusto's query language is a language we can use in Azure to query, our logs. So look at the query heartbeats. That is what we check. Where the time generated is greater than 1 hour ago, summarized by count and by computer. That summarize is like grouping in SQL Server. And look at it, count, you group it by count and per computer. And that is why you pick one computer and you say this is number of counts. Now, I can write my own query. It's not a must I go to this place and begin to look here. If I know what I'm looking for, I can begin to write my own query. For example, I'm going to replace this query now with my own query. What I'm looking for is insight matrix. You see, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for insight matrix where the time generated, the time generated is greater than when, greater than ago, and the ago I'll put the day. This um greater than ago, this is it, ago in time span, 1 hour. Now I can now move to the next line. For example, I can also pick another where clause, and the where clause is the name that I'm looking for. For instance, I want to see the utilization, name, utilization percentage. And we also have summarize here. I can now summarize it by AVG, that's a average, and I can put value here. I can also say by bin, and sorry, by bin, yeah. And what am I looking for? The time generated in the 5 minutes, comma, computer. What it simply means that it will split it by computer. And finally, I will say should render the time chart. If I run this query, what's it going to give me? Let's look at it. This is what? This is a chart. Look at what it's giving me. It's actually giving me time generated. The average value is what? 0.465. The computer is AZ-104. So what I try to get here is insight metrics, utilization percentage. You know, what is the percentage of utilization of the resources? And that's what I try to get between 7:15 a.m. to 7:20. You can see that's what I do, what I try to get. And from what it's telling me here, it's actually slide or slide down. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.